Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm super excited, emphasis on super excited to be recording this video. The final one actually for the Overwatch World Cup 2018. It's been very interesting. The Overwatch World Cup was something that I decided to start making videos on and pay attention to after Overwatch League this year. And it's something that I've found very, very interesting to pay attention to, follow, all this stuff. Because it was something that I didn't pay attention to before Overwatch League, even though it was there, and I played Overwatch since early 2017. I just didn't watch it last year, but this year I did. And it was very, very fun to watch the games, watch the group stage that I watched. But, just pay attention to all the group stages. And ultimately the final at BlizzCon. So, we are going to break down everything. Now, when I scroll down here on the page, it says South Korea first place. Pretty excited about that. There are some people who were not happy about the results, I will admit. But I am happy about it. Some people just like, oh my god, South Korea won again. I had one person that I had commented to. Because I've seen a lot of their negative comments. A lot of people are like, oh my god, they won, whatever. I don't typically respond to things like that, but I figured it'd be funny just to get a little spicy. Which I did. Where's the thing? Alright, so this person has been commenting all over Overwatch things today. Saying, all these things like, I'm triggered because they keep winning and they don't get excited when they win or whatever. So this person put, not sure if anyone else feels the same way or feels the same, but why not just make it so Korea can't participate next year? It's boring seeing them win 3 years in a row, especially when teams like Canada and UK are more deserving. So I'm like, lol, someone's really just hurt that Korea's the best at Overwatch. And then they responded saying, the best or the most try-hard team who show no emotion when they win. If they don't, they don't. It doesn't matter. If they wouldn't, like, they're excited. They just probably just don't, like, show it. They're probably just, like, out here jumping around, celebrating that they won. You win, you continue on, It's what happened. I mean, if that's how they want to celebrate, that's how they do. I'm sure they're having celebration themselves. It's different celebration than like other sports. That's the thing. You even seen that with the celebration in Overwatch League. I mean, it was just different. They didn't like jump around and do all crazy things for like hours like you see with other sports, baseball, football, other things. It's just different. So, yeah. So I did respond to the person saying that they show no emotion. I'm like, I heard obviously the best that they won 3 times in a row. The majority of the Overwatch League players are Korean. I mean, you can't really say that they're not good. And the person was also mad that China was there, so I don't know if it's like other things besides them just not liking the teams. Maybe they don't like Asia as a place and people from Asia. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know. Not really getting into that here. But I'm just saying maybe that's why the person was the way they were. Because they also commented about China not getting excited either. So that could be a potential as a thing on the side about that person specifically. But in general, most people are just like, oh, I'm not really surprised they won. But I don't know. It was very interesting to watch this shift from yesterday when I talked about people like South Korea's not going to win. America's better. All these other teams are better. South Korea's struggling. They don't practice as much. They've done all this stuff, but obviously it came out and they beat China 4-0. So to get in that, we're going to break down the matches for you guys. So starting today, I woke up as the game started. Just so everybody knows that. I woke up as the game started. So the first game was Korea against the United Kingdom, which was a very interesting match. And I do want to say, I feel like a lot of these players that played in the Overwatch World Cup definitely should be in the Overwatch League. A lot of the players we've seen on UK and China, those are a lot of the teams that had players that aren't in the Overwatch League. I think those teams definitely had a lot of good players that should be in the Overwatch League next year. Alright, so to break it down, Korea and Britain played on Nepal first, and Korea ended up taking that 3-1. 3-1? 2-1. Used to be that you had to take 3. That's what used to be better, but we're not going to get into that. Next, we went and Korea and UK played on King's Row, where they were actually... Korea pushed really far, got all the way to the end. Had a decent amount of time, a lot more time than UK did. But they were able to hold Korea from doing another attack after Britain got all the way to the end themselves. So they were able to hold them off there, get a draw. Volskaya Industries was a very similar situation. Korea had a crazy time. I think they had like 5 minutes or 5.5 minutes. Something crazy. And then they went to the thing. The other, they switched. I don't even know. Okay, I was like distracted. They went and switched sides, and UK pushed through pretty well themselves. And then, yeah, we've seen the same situation where Britain just took a lot of things. I'm really outside distractions, or messes up what I was thinking. Alright. Yeah, so that's what happened. And it was a similar situation. They tried to push through, and it resulted in another draw. So then we went to Rialto, which I didn't realize until, like, later. Or, like, once the announcer said it. But right at the end, he's like, yeah, if Korea wins this, they're going to advance. And I'm like, Chief, what? I'm like, boy, you're on some next level things. But it makes sense because they only had one map left. So, went to Rialto and used the stairs and the entranceway a lot. Both teams did the same strategy. And they just stopped each other about the same spot. Korea was able to stop Britain a little bit further, or a little bit less distance, where Korea went on to beat the UK there and advanced to the championship. That was a lot to get through, and I really struggled. The other one I didn't really pay attention to as much, but China kind of just rolled through Canada, winning Oasis 2-1 and then 3-0 on Blizzard World is super impressive. I did watch that one. They played. I didn't watch Oasis. That was the thing. I woke up late. Then I watched the game. And then I don't know what I was doing on that map, honestly. Either way. And then Blizzard World, though, yeah, China just kind of rolled through, and to win, get all 3 and then stop somebody all on Blizzard World is just crazy, because that map is just terrible. But yeah, Blizzard World, they destroyed him on that. China looked really well. Really well? They looked really good. And then Temple of Anubis, same thing. China, they were actually spawn camping Canada at a certain point. And that was just crazy. Considering all these players that aren't in the Overwatch League, just spawn camping so many like players that are on teams that compete in the Overwatch League. It's kind of crazy just to see what some of these other players can do that aren't in the Overwatch League. But yeah, so that was the thing. They played really well. And ultimately, Canada was defeated by China and didn't get to go compete against Korea for the championship. So the other thing that was interesting is we came to this point and China hadn't lost a map at all through this stage. They're the only team that didn't lose a map through the first 2 rounds at BlizzCon, because Korea technically didn't lose a map, but they didn't win every map. So China was the only one that did. They didn't lose control map at all. They didn't lose a map. They had 3-0, 3-0. Korea had 3-0, 2-0. So they did have those draws there. Yeah. All right, the next one, I didn't watch all this one because of what I'd done. I told you guys I woke up right as the game started. So I didn't get to do what I do. So I didn't get to go eat. And I had to take a shower. So I didn't watch this whole game, but it was UK, Canada, playing for the third place. And UK took the first map of Busan. Luckily, I checked yesterday and remembered because it is not set in here. And I'm like, big brain strats. Gonna remember this. I don't know. I knew it was Busan and I wanted to watch Busan be played, but got to see it yesterday with Korea and Australia. So, either way, they played Busan. Britain won that 2-0. Then they go to Blizzard World. Canada wins 2-1. Well, Sky Industries, Britain won 3-2. Then Canada went on to win Junkertown. That was a crazy map. There was some May being played. There's Bastion and rest on the payload, which is toxic. But Canada was able to win that, and then on to Lijiang Tower. Canada just destroyed UK there. That was not even close. Not even close. So yeah, that was that. So I didn't watch some of those games just because I don't know. It's the same with like Overwatch. Like with like other sports. If it's not a team that I'm interested in, I don't really care to watch. That's why the first day I watched Korea play. That's why today I watched both the first round, just because I wanted to see who Korea would play, and it was also on. And I was gonna take a shower after the first match, but then it was on. And I was like watching, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll watch it. But for the most part, I just don't really care to watch teams that I don't have interest in. Same with other sports. The only one I can do that with was football, but that was like last year. This year I haven't really had interest in watching other teams either. But you know, it's just like the teams I want to watch. So I'll watch Korea play, Overwatch League. I'll watch Seoul Dynasty play, watch New York Excelsior play. That's really it. But yeah, so now we go to the championship match. And all the stuff is, China's been rolling through teams. Korea hasn't looked as good. What's going to happen? Go to Ilios. And the first point on Ilios, the first, like, team fight, I'm like, all right, this is over. In that moment, China had moved on to the point. And the point hadn't unlocked yet. They moved on to the point because there was a lighthouse. So they move in the little room. And Korea's waiting outside of it. Right as the point unlocks, Korea jumps to the point and just destroys China. And I'm just like, yep, they're the champion. Like that, in that moment, I'm like, that's when I knew what happened. Honestly, I will say, that first team fight, I felt like it was over. And obviously it was. But it was just, sometimes you get the sense that, like, that's it. And in that fight, they just showed, like, we're here and we're going to win. They want to do the same thing on the second point of Ilios. And really, after they won Ilios, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, this is definitely over. But the first team fight, I just knew Korea had it. They were going to win. We go to King's Row. Korea got all the way to the end. And then we look at China. They only got the first point, so they got stopped through the town section of King's Row. Temple of Anubis. Korea's had a crazy time. About 5 minutes or 5.5 minutes. And then China was on pace to do the same thing, but they got set up a little bit. And they just weren't able to go. And the second point's really, really hard to take. I was impressed that Korea did it in 5 minutes. Or with 5 minutes out on the clock. I think they might have had 6. I don't know. It was some crazy number. But that point's so hard to take. If you play Overwatch in general, you obviously would know. The way I said that was terrible. If you play Overwatch, you know Temple of Anubis point B is like so hard to take. Just come out of those rooms, and it's just, you're so close. There's no way to just like take it if you're not in the right situation. And they just weren't able to break through at all. Watch when Gibraltar is when I got a little bit close. Korea already had the 3-0 lead. So China was going to come back and win 4 maps in a row. Oh, time out real quick. I want you to know. To set this up, I have a Kleenex box I set the tripod on. It's really lame, but it's easier to record this way. So I have the watch, my Apple Watch. I haven't really worn it recently. Doesn't matter. I have the Apple Watch over there on my bed. And Soul's in here. She's playing. Just messing around, doing whatever. She's over there just playing with the watch. And if you heard thump on the ground, or yeah, you heard that. she flopped off the bed on my watch. Either way, back to watch 1 Gibraltar. Korea went through, and they were on the final point at that last turn. And it was overtime. They were able to somehow, I don't even know how, but Jarnak, first of all, had crazy transcendence, got to the point, and was able to keep the payload contested. The rest of the team came and just pushed their way in, and they were able to push through. China comes in and does the same thing. They push all the way to the end. They actually have more time because Korea finished in overtime. China finished with a minute 19 left. So we go to the second section. Korea has 1 minute to push. China has 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So Korea pushes through the first section. There's a little bridge. They push like right up the incline from the bridge, the little hill. And they stop there. So it's like, this is risky. Gibraltar's really hard to hold that first point before that turn. But somehow Korea's able to hold it off. I was watching the top, the number at the top, and China got to 0.06 meters of taking it, winning Gibraltar. Somehow Korea pushed them off, pushed the payload back, and from then it was just a team fight for like a minute and a half underneath that bridge. Because the issue was China brought Bastion and Orisa, which is a good strategy if you can like make it work. If you can get the Bastion and the Orisa and you can push your way through. But if your Bastion gets killed or your Orisa gets killed, you're so far behind with ultimates that it's hard to come back from that in the limited time. If they had 4 minutes, if it was like the first round they did it, they would have definitely got further. But if you get taken off the payload as Bastion and you fought for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, at that level, it's a different story. Like if we were playing, or if I was playing, and I was at the level that I was playing, because I'm not that high of a level. At the level that I play, though, you're not going to build your ults fast. I may, because I'm a little bit better than people I play with. I feel I'm slightly better. Just lack of team is the issue. But that's not the point. The point is that most people, it takes a little longer to build your ult than people do in Overwatch World Cup, Overwatch League. They build their ults in like 40 seconds, 30 seconds. So it doesn't matter as much, but it's still being behind with your ult. If you're playing against a team that has their ultimate, you're going to struggle. So that's ultimately what we've seen from China was with that pushed them back. If they hadn't done that, I think they maybe could have took that point. But once they did that, it was just the issue for them to push through. So, yeah, I like this kind of analyzation where we go more in detail with the match. I wish we could do this more with Overwatch League, but these videos takes it's a lot to do, I feel. But it's really fun. I wish I could like watch every game and like break down every match and like remember what happens, all the details. But since today was just like the championship day, and it's the first time for Overwatch for me that there's been a championship since I've watched, because I only watch Overwatch League and this year's Overwatch World Cup. So I've only watched 2 Overwatch tournaments. I guess we'll consider the league a tournament. But yeah, it's the only second time that I ever watched. So obviously in the Overwatch League, you guys see favorite team stole Dynasty. Things didn't really work out. They didn't make the playoffs. So, I didn't really have a team to care for. I mean, I like New York Excelsior, but we're not going to get into the details of what teams I like and all that stuff. But, for Overwatch League, I didn't really get to, in the playoffs, have a team to really root for and, like, pay attention to every detail of the match. The championship, I wanted London Spitfire to win. The all-Korean team, I would pick over Philadelphia. But for the most part, it wasn't, like, super paying attention to details. I wasn't like, all right, what's happened in the match? But this year I like really can remember a lot of the stuff. Plus I'm recording it a couple minutes after, where the stuff for Overwatch League, when I do that, it's at the end of the week. Because the week it was Wednesday to Saturday? So we go from Wednesday to Saturday and record. And it was just like a lot of stuff. And for Overwatch World Cup before, for the stages, I only watched the Incheon stage, and I only watched South Korea play, and I think I only watched like 3 games, and they were like late. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning because it was Korean time, so it was all thrown off. Those videos, those matches were. So I really got to sit down today, and when Korea played, it was like Normally on my phone, a lot of the games, I'll be on my phone, watch a little bit. But my phone, which is over there, I had to charge the battery because I use it the whole time during Canada and China playing and UK and Canada. But my phone was literally just over there on the charger the entire time in that last match. The only time that I took it out the charger was like the breaks in between. When the game was happening, it was focused on the match, and I was just able to watch a lot of it and be super excited about it. So I personally am super excited that South Korea has won. Yeah, so that's the thing. This person that I was talking about before, they did respond. And yeah, so they put, so what's your point? Because if you're trying to make one, think about it. They might have won 3 in a row. Doesn't mean they deserve it, though, does it? Don't come back with, they won it, of course they deserved it. Stop being so biased. I mean, the best team wins the championship. I'm not going to get into it. But either way, it was super fun. Super fun time. And, yeah, so that's that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.